We are live, podcast number 1, still calling it PowerOfPC. Not exactly sure if we're going to put it on a PowerOfPC YouTube channel, but it will be on my YouTube channel, bare minimum. And if, you ever start your YouTube channel, you can put it on there if you want as well. So, but yeah, so anybody watching this, thank you for coming to the podcast. My name is Eric. I go by Erock. Some of my content is going to be Erock. Other content is going to be Erock on deck, just because Erock is short and a lot of social media and different tools want to say you have to have a certain amount of characters or that's already been taken or whatever. So anyway, and Max, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, I'm Max. I go by AflocFul of babies on my online accounts. If you're looking for me or searching for me, I mainly stream. Haven't done a YouTube channel yet, just started a Twitter and whatnot, but yeah, it's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, typically you can find me in AflocFul or whatever the the handles are for everything. I'll put them up as I go here.
Nice. Yep. And so I mean, I guess without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop on into the podcast. And this is number 1. Number 1 is never meant to be as good as like number 101, right? So the background's going to get better. Everything's going to get better as time goes on. So anyway, let's just hop into the content. So I guess tonight we're just going to talk. I know we agreed on 2 things. Maybe we could talk about 3 things. So obviously, 1, let's talk about next gen consoles. Number 2, let's talk about achievements, and then number 3, let's talk about maybe just a little bit, we can even mix in some of our history of console gaming and the PC and stuff like that. Because obviously, when we're talking about next gen consoles, I think some of the history is going to organically come up. So it may just be 2 topics, and we'll just keep it like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into next gen consoles. They're supposed to be coming out this year, assuming COVID doesn't delay them. And so yeah, what I'll let you kick us off with that. What do you think about it, and what are your initial thoughts?
Well, just overall, I'm definitely really excited about the Xbox. One of the things that I've noticed with this next gen of consoles, especially, is that Xbox definitely has, or Microsoft is a better way to refer to it as, has definitely come out swinging with this particular console release. They've put everything out on the table early. Like, literally, we know exactly what to expect. Sony is still kind of slowly implementing what they are doing. We just got the specs, and this most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't even watch it. It was so bad. But what I will say about this is that, when we switched over to PC, one of the things that I was worried about was next-gen consoles actually being on the same level as us whenever we switched, which we'll get into, I guess, in a little bit later. But for the most part, like I said, I'm excited for the fact that with consoles actually slowly catching up and bridging the gap with PC, is that I feel like we'll start seeing a lot more cross-play and a lot more synergy within the consoles and PCs. So I'm really excited. Like I said, I think this is the biggest jump that I've seen from consoles in a long time, if at all. I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't think we've ever seen this much of a bridge gap, achieved by consoles ever. I mean, so I'm actually really excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing. I mean, personally, like I said, I mean, I know we've discussed it, offline, but when the new consoles do go a little cheaper, I'm probably going to get an Xbox One X or Xbox Series X, just because of the fact that I feel like, it's definitely worth having, as a terms of an alternative to be able to play with some other people and stuff. So, right. Yeah, like I said, I'm overall looking forward to it. I think that it's actually really exciting for gaming, because the thing about gaming that I've noticed, and I'll finish up here, is like, I've noticed that, console wars are cool, and I know that like everybody's like, if you're not at war type thing. I've seen a few YouTube videos saying that if you're not at console war, then you don't really care. But it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like that competition's great, especially with PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, and Nintendo's in their own little stratosphere. But I mean, it's cool, and I do agree with it. But at the same time, like, there's nothing better than playing with your friends on whatever platform they want to play on. So I'm looking forward to that more than anything here going forward.
Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of things, I guess, to really kind of piggyback on that. So number one, competition is always good for the consumer. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're Team Xbox or PlayStation. I met a guy the other day who was hardcore Nintendo. Which I mean, like, they're out there. I mean, it's a little uncommon, but those type of people or those type of gamers do exist where, like, Nintendo is their everything. I was trying to relate to him and just talk about how much I like, Super Paper Mario and, on the Wii, and my wife and I, we've beaten it multiple times and stuff. And he's like, oh man, that's like the worst Super Paper Mario. He's like, there's so many other better Paper Marios. Have you played the one on the GameCube? And it's like the moment that somebody tells me that they've played a game or like the majority of their collection is from the GameCube, I immediately know, like, I'm not really going to be able to bridge the gap with this person. Like, clearly they're a hardcore Nintendo person. Clearly they're not interested in the most modern stuff. But anyway, but no, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. But no, the point that I was making was that, competition is always good for the consumer at the end of the day. You could be, Ford or Chevrolet, Honda, Nissan. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want there to be competition. You want there to be rivals because that forces the company to give you a better product at a better price, And so, I've always wanted Xbox to be ahead. I've wanted Xbox to be the winner, and Xbox got creamed in terms of sales figures and everything like that this generation. But what did that do? That forced Xbox to step their game up, and now look at it. We're heading into the next generation of consoles, and Xbox has literally come out the gate swinging, man. I mean, you got solid-state drives, you got some of the best tech specs we've ever seen in a console ever. Meanwhile, PlayStation, the only thing they've been able to show us is a PS5 logo. So, I mean, like I said, competition is great. But no, from just the actual, generation itself, I mean, obviously we're on PC now. We made the switch in October of last year. And to be fair, I mean, if I would have known about the Series X and had this information back then, there's a good chance I never would have made the jump. But now that we did switch over to PC, I don't regret it, and I do love it, and I do think it's so much more diverse, and it gives you a bigger variety, and you can multitask and accomplish so many more things than what you could ever do on a console. Like right now, we would not be able to do just what we're doing on a console, right?
Right.
Like we would still need a PC in order to do this. So, from that standpoint, I'm happy we made the switch. But I've always been a diehard Xbox gamer. I've had one of every Xbox in my collection. I currently have multiple of almost every Xbox in my collection. So it would be weird not to have a Series X, but at the same time, I'm also a numbers guy, and it's hard for me to justify the numbers, like, why am I going to go and buy this console day one when I know it's not going to be my daily driver,
Right.
If it was going to be the only thing I played and it was going to be my number one thing, absolutely. But, because I am a PC gamer and that's mostly where I'm going to stay, I'm just going to, be patient. And like you said, when the price comes down and it gets significantly cheaper, then I'll definitely, walk in and pick it up and add it into the collection for sure. But we're not missing anything, I mean, E3 2019, Phil Spencer confirmed it, all Xbox exclusives day one will be on PC and will be in Game Pass. Yeah. So you're not missing anything if you don't get it. But like if you are a console gamer and you're not on PC and you're not looking to go to PC, right now it is definitely looking like Xbox is the place to be, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And like one thing that speaking about Call of Duty specifically, is that I've really enjoyed the fact that, like, with Call of Duty, we're able to play with anybody we want. You know what I mean? From PlayStation to Xbox to whatever. And, like, it's just, like, I'm so excited for that time because I'm just absolutely sick of not being able to play on whatever platform we want. Like, personally, like, I do like enjoying playing on my Xbox sometimes, but I enjoy playing with keyboard and mouse so much. Like, I didn't think, I mean, like, I used to play a lot on keyboard and mouse a long time ago, but one thing that has really come to me personally over the past, what has it been like? We built this in October, like 6 months or so of gaming on PC. Is that like how much I love keyboard and mouse? The moment I go into a controller, like, and depending on the game, I'm like, dude, I just miss playing with my mouse and keyboard so much. So like, I like that because like Call of Duty was able to implement, hey, you can play with keyboard and mouse, you can play with controller, you can do whatever you want. So I really do enjoy that so much. So kind of going with what you were saying, like, I mean, just kind of like, I'm looking forward to, that as a whole, but like at the same time, like, I mean, personally, like, I am looking forward to seeing the Series X succeed because I am an Xbox fanboy. I have all the Xboxes like you do. I actually have 2 Xbox Ones. I have the Xbox One X and I have the Xbox Elite. So, I mean, and I have a 360. So, I mean, I'm a big Xbox fanboy, always have been. I want to see it, succeed and be prosperous. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those things where I prefer keyboard and mouse at this point, and I don't want to be like told kind of what I should or shouldn't do with that, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, like I said, I mean, I'm just excited for the future because I feel like developers are going to be more comfortable down the road of being able to say, hey, let's let gamers choose where they want to play. I think that's the important thing right now, more than anything, more than the fact of like, okay, well, which console is going to win. Type thing. I feel like the consoles are so similar these days. I mean, if you look at the specs versus the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they're so similar. Yeah, I mean, you could say like minor differences, but overall, they're very similar. I mean, we're not looking at a huge difference at this point.
Yeah. Well, Review Tech USA just put out that video earlier today talking about how PlayStation may be in trouble. And he does make a really good point. We're in April of 2020. And the launch for next gen is supposed to be holiday, which always typically means, late fall, like in November. And so by this point in time, when your biggest competitor has already said, hey, here's the title of our next Xbox, here's the logo, by the way, here's the box, here's the insides, take it apart, do whatever you want, look at the SSD, everything, right? And then the only thing you've done is basically talk about 3D audio, whatever the heck that means, and a bunch of other really boring pieces of technology in a very boring form. I'm sorry, the technology is not boring. The technology is amazing. But the presentation in which that they described it was incredibly boring, right?
Oh, you're right.
It was the most boring presentation I've ever seen in my life. And then they say, here's a PS5 logo, and that's it. You don't know what the box looks like. You don't have a release date. You don't know a launch title. And you don't know the price, right? Now, the Xbox still needs to tell us the price and the official release date, but that's it. I mean, other than that, we have all the information. Like, we know that Halo's a launch title, and we know there's probably going to be a couple of more launch titles. They're not confirmed, but we do know that Halo is a confirmed launch title, right? We know what the box looks like. We know what it's called. We know how it's going to perform. We know all the tech specs about it, and I mean, we do have the tech specs about the PS5 now, and they are underpowered in comparison to the Xbox Series X. But, yeah, I mean, Review Tech USA had a really good point. PlayStation very well may be in trouble. There may be something going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. And that's the reason why we haven't seen a box yet, man. And then he talked about there could be possible delays. And I'm going to tell you right now, if the PS5 gets delayed for whatever reason and the Series X still comes out this November, it very well could be over for Sony this console generation.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care how many exclusives you have. I mean, like, literally, dude, like, Xbox is coming out the gate swinging like super hard, dude. So it's like, PlayStation better not underestimate Xbox right now, so.
No, I agree 100%. I don't think exclusives really are the end all be all anymore. I mean, I know most, especially on the Sony side, more than anything, are like, we got to have our exclusives. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's one thing everybody's looking for, but I feel like, and this is not every Xbox gamer. I will admit that it's not everyone, but I will feel like the majority of Xbox gamers, if you talk to them, are more leaning to the side of, hey, let's all play on whatever platform we want and just enjoy ourselves. So, I mean, I think you're 100% right. We're like, with Sony, like, it feels like that they're behind the 8 ball and they know they're behind the 8 ball. You know what I mean? With that fact is like they're slowly but surely. They've actually, I saw that, and I mean, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, the PlayStation Now thing, whatever it is, has actually been on PC longer than Xbox Game Pass has been on PC. So it's just kind of like one of those things where,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I saw like a video on that, like, and I was like thinking to myself, well, PlayStation has already dabbled in this PC market for a while now. And I understand where they're coming from, where they want to kind of segregate themselves from Xbox, but at the same time, it's kind of like, why? I mean, it's kind of more sales for PlayStation if they can integrate with the PC market more. And by integrating with the PC market, unfortunately, they're going to be integrating with the Xbox. So anyway, the one thing I'm looking at is, I agree with you 100%, is that it feels like PlayStation is like trying to hide something with this, because everybody says no news is good news, but I feel like that in this situation, that no news is bad news for PlayStation is like, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of confidence in them. Why are, like, in terms of like their design of the box, and why haven't they shown what the PlayStation is going to look like at this point?
I mean, so, one thing I want to talk about is, Phil Spencer said early on in this console generation when, Don Matrick came out, ruined the Xbox brand with that piss poor, terrible presentation. And then, like, literally, like, a month or two after the console launched, he left the company. And then, Phil Spencer came in and stepped over and stepped up and took over, is what I was trying to say. He's really made a lot of pro-consumer choices since he's been in the position he's in. And overall, I got nothing but love for Phil Spencer. I love what he's done for the brand. But he was given an interview, and obviously this was early on in the console cycle, and everybody wanted to ask him, "Do you think you're going to be able to catch up? I mean, you're so far behind Sony. What are you going to do?" And he made a really good point. He said, everyone thinks that in order for a company to succeed, the other company has to fail. And he said that's not the case at all. He said we are 100% able to succeed and be profitable and do all of that, regardless of how well or poor Sony is doing. And he's incredibly right about that. Sony. So we don't actually know the official Xbox numbers this console generation over the last 7 years. I think a fair estimate is somewhere north of 50 million sales is probably what it is. The last official numbers that came out were like late 20s, early 30 millions or something like that. But it's been so much time between then. Like, I mean, we've got to be well over 50 million sales by now. Meanwhile, PlayStation is well over 100 million units sold. So clearly, from a numbers perspective, they've won. Right. But that doesn't mean that Xbox failed by any means at all. Xbox has started reporting on, user activity on Xbox Live, engagement, things of that nature, and those numbers are incredibly high. And in fact, there have been multiple periods over this console generation where they've seen nothing but spikes in those numbers, where Xbox Live continues to get more and more active users on a regular basis. And then on top of that, Xbox was doing so well and had such a strong footing that Microsoft agreed to reinvest money back in the brand. So they went back and bought like 5 or 6 different studios and made them official first-party studios. You see the Series X now. You see how much power is in that thing, man. PC builders on YouTube have been trying to build a comparable PC, and the closest thing they can get to is between $1,200 to $1,600. So if you were to build it yourself, that's what you're looking to pay. And we already know it's not going to come out at that, right? So more than likely, they're going to be taking a loss on the console. But at the end of the day, the point is this. It's like, did Xbox win in terms of units sold? No, absolutely not. But does that mean they failed? No, of course not. They were still successful by their own metrics, And
right.
Yeah. And so anyway, I'll say it like this. John Campea, we both like him a lot. We watch his YouTube reviews. What does he always say? He says, if you're going to ask me if there's going to be a sequel, the only answer to the question is, Well, look at the box office numbers. Was the movie
Right.
profitable? Was the movie profitable? Yes or no? Did the
Yeah.
studio make a movie?
Yeah.
If the
Sure.
studio made a profit, they're gonna make a sequel. Simple as that, right? And it's the same thing with Xbox. If Xbox did not make a profit this generation, they probably wouldn't be expanding. They might not even be talking about next gen. They might be pulling a Sega and getting out of hardware and just doing software altogether. You know,
Right.
but they did make a profit. There was actually tons of reports that came out that suggested that, you know, Microsoft was killing it in terms of just pure revenue, man. So anyway, I don't really know what you said or whatever that got me thinking that. But the point is, like, one company does not have to fail in order for another one to succeed.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, in, you know, kind of going back to your point, where competition is important for the consumer. Also, I feel like that continuity is important for the consumer as well, because if you got exclusives here holding the consumer back from being able to play a game such as like Destiny or even like this new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remaster, because nobody on PC or Xbox are able to play this Modern Warfare remastered for the first month just because of that. So this exclusive stuff has got to go because it's not pro-consumer. Mm-hmm. And then also I feel like that, you know what I mean, the idea around, you know, the fact of like, you know, even the Epic browser is bad about that on PC is where they're trying to hoard all the exclusives. So, I mean, like, just that whole mindset has got to go at this point because it's not pro-consumer. I think that the most pro-consumer thing is to integrate integrate PC and consoles together as much as possible where it makes sense, because like some games just don't make sense. Like, I mean, RTSs and games such as that nature should stay on PC as well as some games should stay on console. I do understand, but at the same time, it's kind of like one of those things where at this point in 2020, does it really make sense for us to have exclusive games? No, it does not, because I mean, maybe exclusive, you know what I mean? Maybe I will retract that a little bit. What I mean is like exclusive content on certain games, especially AAA titles, is what I'm really more or less talking about. In terms of exclusive games, such as like, you know, Gears of War for Microsoft and like, you know, some things like that, probably. Like I said, I think that that's fine. I'm just more or less looking at exclusive content as a whole. But I mean, in terms of like, you know, for me, and I'm looking at a selfish standpoint, is like, I feel like there should be Xbox and PlayStation here, and then PC should be in the middle. And like, you know, I would personally like it if like, you know, more of those games were more integrated toward PC. You know what I mean? Especially like, you know, on the PlayStation side. I feel like that it's getting better on the PlayStation side, but I feel like that PC more, if you go PC, you're more or less picking the middle ground. And I feel like you shouldn't be penalized for picking the middle ground. You know what I mean?
You should never be. I just want to hop in on that thought. So you should never be penalized for the platform you choose to play on. That's the problem here, right? So like, exclusives, however you want to word it, are not consumer friendly. They're not. Mm-hmm. Like exclusives are only good for the company that has the exclusivity, right? So like, you know, God of War is great for Sony because it's a console seller. It is a system seller, right? But it's terrible for you and me because we don't own PlayStation 4, so we were never able to play it. Same thing with Spider-Man. We're both diehard comic book fans, diehard Spider-Man fans, and yet that's a video game that is absolutely incredible in every way possible. But yet we can't play it. The only way we're going to be able to play it is like, I don't even think it's on PS Now currently. So even if we were willing to pay for the subscription and, you know, use our data caps or whatever, or use our data and take the risk of hitting our data caps or whatever, you know, we still might not be able to play it. So we'd have to physically go buy a console that we don't necessarily care to own and we don't really need it just to play this one game. Exclusive video games are not, they're not gamer friendly, they're not consumer friendly, but they're necessary evil necessarily for the they're necessary evil because the company that has the exclusive content needs it to sell their console and to stay in business, right? So because if you like, and that's really my dilemma right there, because it's like, on one hand I would love to see exclusives go away completely, I really would, but then you have to ask the question, okay, if Spider-Man was on Xbox and the Switch and it was on PC, why would anybody buy a PS4? You know,
Right.
And that's really the dilemma with Xbox right now, right? Phil Spencer comes out E3 2019. Hey guys, you know Game Pass, all of you love it. Well, we're taking it up a notch. We're now putting Game Pass on PC. Oh, and all of our exclusives, they're going to be in Game Pass day one if you're a subscriber. Oh, and PC gets that too. So what they're basically saying is that anything and everything that comes to Xbox will also be available on PC. Which is very, very pro-consumer and pro-gamer to the highest degree. But what reason does somebody what reason does somebody have to go buy an Xbox right now? And that, like, you know, that's really the question, right? Like, at least at E3 2019. I'll piggyback on that for 2020. But the point is, at that given point in time, that was the thing that flicked in my head, and I'm like, okay, if that's the case, why don't I just go build a PC? I can customize it, make it look however I want. I can get the better frame rate, the better resolution, the better graphics. You know, I get better mod support. The games are cheaper, and yes, if you're watching this or listening to this, games are cheaper on PC. Rest assured, games are cheaper on PC. And so, so I was like, dude, if that's the case, there's, other than me being a diehard fanboy, I don't have a reason to stay on PC. And you talked about mouse and keyboard, dude. I hated the idea of switching to mouse and keyboard.
Right.
I loved my controller. But guess what? Well, number one, I learned mouse and keyboard within 2 weeks. It wasn't a big deal. And number two, controller is compatible with over 90% of all games now. Right? So like, unless like you said, unless it's like something like World of Warcraft where you just have so many buttons that you need to be able to access. I mean, like, other than that, like, Call of Duty on PC plays just like Call of Duty on a console when it comes to a controller. There's really no difference. So, because they added in that aim assist and all of that stuff. So, so anyway, so the point is, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would love for there to be no exclusives because I'm tired of missing out. I'm tired of missing out on certain games. Oh my goodness, I can't talk tonight. But and my nose won't stop itching. So like somebody's gonna be watching this and being like, "Man, this guy touches his nose a lot, man." No, it's like my nose will not stop itching. I don't know why. I'm in Georgia, and the pollen count here is incredibly.
It's terrible
high.
Up here too,
dude. It's incredibly high. I was looking at the news earlier tonight, and like it had an extreme meter, and it was like right below that meter. Like that's how high the pollen is right now, and it is murdering me, dude. Anyway, I digress, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I'll finish this topic out because I don't have much to say, but like, I will counter your argument too, is like, you mentioned, like, you know, the fact of like exclusives kind of give you a reason to like want to buy a console. Like, I just have a problem with exclusive content on AAA titles more than anything right now. Do I agree that like I would love to play Spider-Man? Of course, I want to play Spider-Man, like I said. And on PC, selfishly, I would love to have Spider-Man available to me since I'm on PC. And I do understand if you're on Xbox, you get screwed over. And I'm not saying that like that's what I want. But at the end of the day, you pick a console for a reason. Either A, you've played it forever, that you just love this console, you know what I mean, in terms of either a PlayStation or an Xbox, you love it. Or B, you know, you like the continuity, for example, in terms of like, okay, well, with Xbox, it looks like that more and more games are going to be able to, you know, be cross-save between PC and Xbox, or vice versa, whatever. You know, so I get it. Like I said, there's a lot of reasons why I pick it, but at the same time, like I think that while Xbox is definitely right at this point, in my opinion, more pro-consumer, which I like. I feel like that PlayStation is not necessarily wrong with still holding a lot of exclusive content. You know what I mean? Like, it's that fine balance, because like you got to give people a reason to want to be on your platform. If every single console is the same, why is there not just one console?
You're right.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense for everybody to have?
And I mean, that's exactly what I was saying, was that like I get it. I mean, like, if you're going into the console business, you gotta have exclusives that are to your platform. And,
it's kind of like
I get it, and that was the question for Xbox. It's like, why are you giving everything to PC? Because now nobody has a reason to buy your console, man.
Right? And you know, I'll kind of chime it back too. Is like when Sega Dreamcast first came out, and it was Sega's last console. is that was the difference with Sega, is like Sonic and those games were all important there. You know what I mean? Like, so where am I going with that is like, I look at it from the standpoint of like, where I understand where, and like, it's just it's kind of difficult because I do understand like where Xbox is wanting to stay exclusive still, but they're also wanting to integrate PS, because really at the end of the day, like, what's in the name? Microsoft. It doesn't make sense for Xbox to be this own private entity away from the rest of Microsoft. So like where Xbox comes in, they want to integrate with the rest of Microsoft, meaning that like most PC users are using Windows. Like, so, and from my point of view, unless you use a Mac, that's just a completely different thing. But from my standpoint, is like, why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, and a lot like you, where when we decided to go PC, that was the deciding factor. It's like, okay, well, at this point, they're going to be one and the same, so why not go PC? Because personally, I enjoy the option of playing with mouse and keyboard more than I do just like being stuck with a controller. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I feel like it just kind of sucks because, like, for us, we upgraded at a weird time. So now our hardware is going to be comparable to what the Xbox Series X is going to be. But at the same time, me and you have discussed this offline, is like the longevity of the fact that, like, hey, I can just pop a new graphics card in there and be a notch ahead.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like, I could get the same graphics card and be on the same level. You know what I mean? But
I love that, man. I love that. Because, like, the power... So, here's the thing. The power they're coming out with in the Series X, and like, make no mistake, right? PS5 and the Series X, and especially the Series X, impressive. Like, people talk about PC Master Race and PC Elitist and all that. No. Rest assured, two guys right here, diehard Xbox fans for the longest time. Also, I'm a console fan in general because, like, it's super bright right now, but right behind me is just basically a shrine to all my old consoles, and there's Nintendo, there's PlayStation, there's Xbox, it's all in there. I just grew up a diehard console gamer, but anyway, but now I am on PC, and I do recognize and promote the fact that it is, quote unquote, the master race when it comes to gaming. With that being said, though, rest assured, Xbox Series X and PS5, incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. Like second to none. Like when you're talking about like milestones, right? When it comes up to like when you look at generational gaps and you look at generational leaps forward, the Series X and the PS5 leaps and bounds ahead of anything we've ever seen before. So like rest assured when I say like anything like I say that like might promote PC or whatever over a console, it has nothing to do with me being an elitist or anything. It's just me quoting technical facts from a technology standpoint. But no, the Series X is incredibly impressive. So like there's two ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it is, I spent over $2,000 on my PC, man. Mind you, a lot of that was personal choice of RGB and aesthetics and stuff like that. But I built that back in October, and then now you're going to be able to buy a Series X this holiday season anywhere between $400 to $600. We don't know the price point, but it's going to be in that ballpark, right? So you're going to get basically the same performance, if not very, very, very similar performance to my $2,000 PC.
Right.
And you paid a fraction of the cost. So that, I mean, from a value standpoint, you can't really argue against that. But now here's the flip side of that, right? The other way of looking at that is, man, look at all this power you're getting in the Series X. But yet, look how long you're having to wait to get it. Like, we're in April right now, and you're not getting it until November, assuming it doesn't get delayed, and assuming there's enough quantities available given the pandemic that's going on. Meanwhile, we've had access to this power ever since October of last year.
Right.
And then, like you said, once it comes out, we're going to get new graphics cards for PC that are going to be ahead of consoles. It might cost us a little more money, but we just go to the store, pick it up like you pick up a new video game, bring it home, pop it in and out, pop, pop. It's a 2-second flip, and now boom, you're ahead again, and you're number one again, and you're on top again, and I love that, and I love having that. I love having that expandability, and that is something that console does not give you.
Yeah, and like kind of chiming in on that. So like I don't remember the exact date when the 5700 XT came out, but we've had that for even longer. Like we just upgraded personally last year, but like the 5700 XT for AMD has been out for longer than that. So you're looking at the time frame of when that's been out for when the new consoles come out. And the one thing I always try to have people understand is like, that's great. Like I don't hate on console gaming at all. I love it. Like that is great because like it gives everybody an opportunity to game, especially with this new console generation. Is people don't understand what 60 frames a second really looks like.
Right.
When they see it consistently, and they go back to the 30 frame per second, they're gonna be like, dude, I don't know what I was playing with. You know what I mean? Like so, the fact that consoles are just now going to get that as like an option is huge. And will they ever get to 120? Maybe. I mean, maybe towards the end, depending on what the developers decide to do for graphical fidelity, because it feels like that with console, for whatever reason, they choose to prioritize making the games play at 4K more than they do upgrading the frame rates. I'm just curious to see if there's going to be a developer that chooses to break that model and like go toward a higher frame rate. Anyway, with that being said, what I'm getting at is for Eric and I, what is going to be great is like, for maybe like the first 6 to 8 months, we're going to be on the same level as a console, but literally like spring next year, whenever the new graphics cards comes out, we're going to already be in that gap where we're going to be about 4 to 5 years ahead of consoles again, because the next console releases, who knows what they're going to do. I don't know. Like maybe the new model for consoles is to do these mid upgrades like they did for the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. Maybe that might be the new model. I don't know. But I don't feel like that they're going to upgrade the hardware that much again. I feel like it's going to be another 6 to 8 years before they upgrade the hardware again.
Yeah.
Maybe they might add expanded hard hard drive space.
Yeah,
maybe they might do this.
5 years. 5 years at a minimum. And again, I mean, I can talk more about the Series X because we have more information about it compared to PlayStation 5. But with the Series X, though, like you can tell by their design, they put a lot more thought into future-proofing it. Hence why like they only gave you a 1 terabyte SSD internally. But they partnered with Seagate to make sure that you could always buy additional storage that would be just as fast and just as comparable. So, that was proof of them future thinking about this, right? And the box itself is already relatively small, So typically, you see a console come out, and then they refine it, and you get a smaller version of it, right? So you have the the PS4 Slim, Xbox One, Xbox One S. You always get a smaller version of what's happening. Honestly, man, with the Series X and the power that's in it, I don't really see them making it any smaller in 2 or 3 years from now. I mean, I could be wrong, but I personally I don't see that. But at a minimum, to piggyback off what you're saying, because somebody, if you made it this far in the podcast, first of all, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and secondly, just to, kind of clarify a little bit more what you were saying was like, when we say like, when we upgrade our graphics cards, inevitably, whenever that is, it could be the end of this year, it could be, spring of next year, and we're another 4 or 5 years ahead of console. What that essentially means is that it's not necessarily that we just jump 5 years in technology. It just means that like whatever the next iterative step is above console, we have it, and console isn't going to get it until the next console generation. And by the way, this console generation that we're currently in, Xbox One and PS4, we're going on 7 years. This November makes 7 years that this console generation has been live. So like, while I do admit the PS5 and the Series X are incredibly amazing, and I'm not taking anything away from that, the fact of the matter is they are still consoles, and what you buy is what you get.
Yeah.
And what you buy is what you're stuck with until they decide to release a new console generation, which on average is between 5 to 7 years, right? So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, all I got to say is the Series X better be powerful, and the PS5 better be powerful, because that's all you get.
Yeah,
like that's it. I mean, whenever I feel like my PC's running slowish, I can go and do whatever I want to it, man. Whatever I want, you name it, whatever you want, you can upgrade it and make it better.
Right.
And console just unfortunately does not allow that. It just doesn't. So yeah.
Right, and like, kind of chiming in there is like, with that being said, is console players also don't have to deal with the same issues that we have to deal with either.
Man,
so
that's very true.
We have to deal with not only driver issues, graphics cards not actually being updated to the point where they can handle the new games, because like, it's so weird. Like, I've had this happen multiple times where like, there'll be a driver issue for my graphics card and it will affect one game and make the game fine, but then another game will break for me. So like, I will say that like, the one thing I miss about console gaming more than anything is the fact that I can put a game in and it works every single time. I mean, like, with
the simplicity of the gaming.
Exactly. The plug and play simplicity of it is so nice. So like, that's why I say that this generation is so important, because the gap between consoles and PC is shrunken even more. But at the same time, like, I feel like PC will still always be ahead, because these games are developed on PC anyway. So I mean, like, that's just the nature of the business, is like, a new console, a new graphics card. That's just the way it works. But the way I'm looking at it is, sometimes I also look at it from the standpoint of like, I do miss the lack of issues. You know what I mean? Like, because while we are 100% right in terms of our thinking as a PC player, that, dude, I have a problem, storage, my graphics card is lacking. Okay, well, my cooling needs to be adjusted. I can just plug and place and fix it. It's fine. You know what I mean? But some issues just are intrinsically going to be there, no matter what, with a PC. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like, personally, I love the challenge. I like learning. I like understanding why my PC is not working. But most people do not like that. They want to just come home from a long day at work, turn their console on, and know it works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You know what I mean? They don't want to dig into the issues.
I mean, dude, look. Honestly, we should probably make this a separate podcast, like PC versus console, and talk about the benefits of both. In fact, I'm fine with ending this one and starting part 2 right now. Right. But yeah, no, I mean, the short version is, dude, they're like, at the end of the day, I think you get more. At the end of the day, if you want the most out of gaming that you can possibly get, PC is the place to go. But at the same time, PC does have problems. It does have flaws. It's not perfect by a long shot. And there are definitely some advantages that console has that I do miss. The simplicity, the plug and play, the lack of issues that you just described, that being one of them, and or some of them, and there are several other ones. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, like, if you're on the fence about becoming a PC gamer, I will tell you this: like, from a gameplay experience, it is far superior to a console. The problem is getting to that experience, right? Like, you have to be somewhat of a technology or a technical individual. Like, you have to be tech savvy in order to be in the PC gaming. You just do, man. You're not gonna fumble your way through PC gaming, unfortunately. I mean, a soccer mom who knows absolutely nothing about gaming, given enough time, could figure out how to take a disc, pop it in the tray or in the disc drive, and hit the X button and hit play, right? And get the game to launch. On a PC, no, dude, like, you have to know exactly what you're doing. What you're doing. and there are 100+ different parameters that go into place for bringing all this stuff together, and any one thing could break and crash everything. And
Right.
It's kind of
the
like,
end result is worth it.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. The end result is worth it, but you do have to go into PC gaming with the understanding that, hey, I'm gonna have to open my mind a little bit. I'm gonna have to be willing to learn a little bit, and you might have to Google a couple of things from time to time.
Right.
But it's worth it. I mean, like Max said, I mean, you get smarter, and I mean, like, you learn, and I mean, you may not ever want to have to do that, but once you do it, nobody ever regrets learning something, right? So, anyway, I digress. But no, I mean, that's about all I got on this topic. I'll let you close on this topic. We'll go into achievements and we'll wrap it up. But yeah.
Honestly, that's it, man. I mean, we can save the console versus PC stuff for another time, but I'm definitely ready to talk about some achievements. Let's do it.
Yeah. So okay, so achievements. So I'll open up on achievements, right? So there's this like running joke between all of my friends and me where, like, I love getting achievements, right? So it's kind of like, whenever somebody's obsessed with something, we'll be like, fill in the blank and like, who said that? So for me, it's like, achievements, who said that, right? So that's me. I love getting achievements. And what's funny about that is I'll never forget when I first got my Xbox 360, I was so annoyed. I was sitting there playing a game and these achievements kept popping up and I didn't know what they were. And I'm like, why does this thing keep popping up? This is so annoying. Stop popping up. This is so stupid. What does this mean? You're interrupting my game, blah, 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 blah. And then finally, like, I have a buddy named John, and finally, I remember one time him and some other guys were just going back and forth about their gamer score, and was just comparing and contrasting and talking about some of the hardest achievements that they got. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys talking about? What is this? Who cares, right? But that conversation really piqued my interest, and then you got involved in it, and then I've just kind of been collecting achievements, ever since. Now I'm just now about to hit 65,000. I'm right underneath it. Now, for somebody who's been gaming on Xbox as long as I have, you would think I would have higher, but of course, you get locked into one game for a long time, and you get all the achievements you can get for that game, but then you keep playing that game, and now you're not earning any more achievements. So that's kind of
right.
But no. At the end of the day, I just want to I'm sure we're going to go back and forth on this a couple of times. I hope we do. But one thing I wanted to say about the achievements is a lot of people, they're like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why we have achievements. I don't get the point. You don't get anything for it. Why? Why do you care about it? And same thing with trophies, right? So anything I say about achievements can be applied to trophies on the PlayStation as well. Well, here's the thing about it. Here's why I care about achievements. Number one, the score continues to grow higher and higher and higher, right? And once you understand how long it takes to actually accumulate that amount of gamer score, you start to realize when you see other people who have higher scores, like, you start to understand like how invested they are into the Xbox brand, into the Xbox community, into gaming in general, right? Number two, the achievements are now rated. You have percentages, right? So how rare an achievement is. It'll pop up, it will say this is a rare achievement, and only 2% of all the gamers on the Xbox platform who have ever played this game actually have accomplished this. So congratulations, you're one of the very few in the entire world to do this, right? So that's a pretty cool feeling, man. And then the other thing is this too. For me personally, achievements it's a track record, so you know where you've been. Like, you can go back and look at your achievements. You can see all the games you've played and what you accomplished, and it brings back memories. It's kind of like a history log of all the things you've completed, right? Even if the game is uninstalled, even if you have traded the game into GameStop, even if you've lost the game or whatever, you still have the achievements. They're still tied to your profile. You still have the memories, and you still have the history of what you've done. And the last thing I'll say about achievements and why I like them so much is it motivates me personally to do things in the game I would not normally do. Prime example, I just got finished playing through Outer Worlds, right? One of the achievements was called Well Dressed, and you basically had to go do this very long side quest that was very boring and lame, and I had no interest in doing it. And it basically was like, go travel here, get this piece of clothing, come back and show it to me. Go travel here, get this piece of clothing, come back and show it to me. And, you know, it took me over an hour to get this achievement. And normally I would not have done it, and I did not care to do it, and it was not something I really enjoyed when it came to gaming. However, there were developers that took time to program the ability to customize your character and have all these different kinds of clothing, right? And they wanted to make sure that you enjoyed that part of the experience that was available to you. And so making that an achievement was one way of them saying, hey, here's an avenue of the game that you won't necessarily experience unless you go after it, so go after it. And so I was going through the achievement list, and I'm like, okay, I want to get as many as I can, and I realized, oh, I could probably get that one. And so I looked it up, and I found a tutorial, boom, went right after it. And yeah, it took me about an hour, but at the end of the day, I was able to experience something in the game that I normally would not have. So the short version is achievements cause you to experience more of the game. It causes you to get outside of your comfort zone and do the things you wouldn't normally do, and that's really why I like them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a similar experience. Like, I remember, I don't have exactly the same experience in terms of how I got into achievements as Eric does. Like, mine really started, I played Xbox Live back on the original Xbox with Halo 2, but like, I really didn't care, like, you know, like I said, I didn't think about achievements or anything like that. Achievements got introduced in the 360, right? So anyway, I remember, like, when I first got into Xbox Live, right, it was 2009, I think it was 2008, 2009 with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, right? So anyway, I remember at that time I was playing, not only that, I know Eric's gonna be like, World of Warcraft, whatever. Anyway, so anyway, I remember in World of Warcraft was the first place I saw achievements, like, kind of introduced to me personally, because, like, they didn't have them forever. And, like, one of the cool things is, like, if you got an achievement, a certain types of achievements, you would get X item, right? And that's where it was kind of introduced to me. Like, I didn't realize that Xbox had something similar. Like, yeah, you didn't earn anything, but it was more or less you're earning gamer score, right? You were earning gamer cred. Like, you were saying, like, okay, well, I got this level of, you know, on gamer score, right? So anyway, like, when I played World of Warcraft, and like I said, I started earning achievements and things like that, that's when I kind of noticed that, like, hey, Xbox has the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, at that time I was playing Call of Duty, Battlefield, all these different things like that. I wasn't really, like, focused on achievements, but over time I noticed, hey, I'm racking up a lot of gamer score while playing Skyrim or whatever. So anyway, long story short, I have, like, somewhere between 68 and 69,000 achievement score right on Xbox. And, like, I'm proud as crap about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally like, yeah, I mean, I could have more, but, you know, like Eric said, is I played a lot of games for long term and didn't earn achievements, right? Most multiplayer games, you don't really earn a lot of achievements after so much time. But anyway, with that being said, is I've always cared very dearly about my achievements. Like, I've always been a very big achievement hunter. I've always been very big in terms of, like, you know, that sometimes, unfortunately, has been the reason why I play games. I'll never forget is, you know, going for Skyrim achievements. I didn't 100% achieve all the achievements in Skyrim on 360, right? But I did on Xbox One because I bought Skyrim like 1,700 times. I have it on 360, Xbox One, and I have it on PC, right? And most people have it on Switch too. So anyway, most people have it on all platforms, right? Anyway, so I 100% achieved it. I got 100% of the achievements on Xbox One. And I'll never forget is Eric got 100% achievements both on 360, I believe, and Xbox One, right?
No, I didn't. I got 90. I got 49 out of 50 achievements on Xbox One. On the 360. Right. On the Xbox One, I did get 100% achievement completion, and I did do it before you. I just want to put that out there.
Regardless, is I'll never forget is like this is how achievements kind of drive you as a player. Is I'll never forget like I managed to find a workaround that was a lot easier on Skyrim to get all the achievements than Eric did because Eric decided that.
Oh my goodness! You're gonna talk about this, really? Oh my goodness!
We had to kill the legendary dragon, and to kill the legendary dragon, you be 81. So Eric's way of getting to 81 was he kept casting the same spells or beating on this horse that was.
You couldn't kill the horse; it was infinite. So yeah.
So he did that, and I found another way because like there was a way, like much later. I had found a better way, a different way that was a little bit easier. I just want to
say your video, I don't think was available when I did mine. So.
It might have been. I don't know when the video came out, but anyway, I found a video that basically huge workaround, create this spell, and I kept casting it over and over again, and it ended up getting 81. Anyway, I gave him such a hard time because that's the level you go to get achievements. If you really care, is you will beat a horse for hours.
An unkillable horse, just the level of your character and boost.
So like,
yeah, guilty.
For me. Like with achievements, that's what it means to me. Is like you're gonna go to the extremes to get an achievement. Like you will play the hardest difficulty settings in games. Like I love getting achievements in Resident Evil games because
that's true. No, that's a good point. Yeah. Like why play on hardcore if you're not gonna get anything extra?
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And I agree 100%. Is like that's why I like playing the Resident Evil games because like for me like. This will be the last thing I say about this. I'll let you talk. Is like the epitome to achievements is this for me is like when you play the Resident Evil games, especially Resident Evil 7, is when you play on the normal difficulty, you get achievements for beating the game on normal. But then and it's one way. But then when you go through on Madhouse difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty setting, not only are you gaining achievements for beating that, but the game is completely different. Like, I mean, you don't know unless you've played Resident Evil 7 and you played it on normal and then Madhouse because the game is set up and designed completely differently on both settings. And I love that because, like, personally, I put those hand in hand because when I play on PC now, do I want to play the harder difficulty settings that I sure will, depending on the game I like? Of course. But at the same time, like, it was more of a beneficial thing when I played on console just because of the fact that it was known that, like, hey, I played this on Madhouse. Not only am I getting a better gaming experience because I'm playing in a different way and also having to do things in a different way, but also I'm gaining achievements, and sometimes they're really high point awarding achievements. You know what I mean? And then, like, it's just nice. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing, and I know we talked about this offline and I'll bring it up here is like, we talked about this and, I'll let you kind of chime in here is that's the one thing I miss about consoles more than anything is I knew when I put that game in or started playing that game was designed to give me achievement, either easy or hard or passive or anything. I knew that I was going to get at least one achievement from plugging that game in. You know what I mean? And that's just the way. That's something I miss dearly.
I miss it too, and that's one reason why I've really been like playing the mess out of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass for PC, whatever they call it. That's one reason why is because if you play like for example Outer Worlds, I got that for free when I built my PC. AMD was giving it away as a promotion. So I got the game for free, but it's through the Epic Game Store, and obviously that's not really a place I want to play it, and also there's no achievements with it. And I waited, and it came out on Game Pass, and so I just went and downloaded it through PC Game Pass. Boom, now I get to play the exact same game, and I get to build my gamer score on top of it. So I do agree with you. That is something about console I absolutely miss. Like, it sucks, like, Call of Duty on console has no problem giving you achievements or trophies if it's on PlayStation or Xbox, but yet if it's on PC, it won't allow you to tie your Xbox Live profile to it, and it won't allow it to be on Game Pass or whatever. No, you have to download the stupid Battle.net launcher and all that bullcrap and go through that, and now you don't get any of your achievements or anything like that. You don't have all your friends list or anything. That's a completely different world. And you have to jump through these hoops or whatever to, connect with your other friends. I'm grateful now that they do allow crossplay. You kept bringing that up. But yeah, no, the at the end of the day, I do agree with you. That is something I really do miss, like a lot. And I guess I'll just, end my thought on achievements like this, ways that it could be improved. Number one, Nintendo, I don't know what you're doing, but the fact that you don't have a trophy system, a challenge system, an achievement system, whatever you want to call it by now, is pathetic beyond belief. Even Steam has achievements. I don't particularly care about them, but Steam has achievements. Xbox has achievements. PlayStation has trophies. Nintendo has literally absolutely nothing. And I'm like, why not? Like, at this point in time, you should have some type of challenge system in every game that builds back to your character's profile. Why do you not have that, Nintendo? I think Nintendo needs to have that. So for all you people out there like, man, I'm a Nintendo boy. Nintendo's number one. Okay, well, that is something Nintendo's severely lacking in. Okay, and it's so basic. Like, dude, just do it. They can code it overnight. It's not a big deal. The second thing I really wish achievements would get better at is, at this point, I kind of just wish, Xbox is already putting some of their games on Steam. Halo's on there now. And they just released another game on Steam too, a pretty big one, I forget. But the point is, it's like, if I download Halo on PC Game Pass, I get achievements. But if I download Halo on Steam, I don't get achievements, not Xbox achievements. That is stupid. That is just stupid. At this point, and no offense, Steam, I know, you say anything negative about Steam, Steam is like the sacred cow of PC gaming. Steam, I love you, you're amazing, but at this point, nobody cares about your achievement system, okay? 90% of the games you got are already on Xbox and PlayStation anyway. With that being said, just go ahead and partner with PlayStation and partner with Xbox and allow those gamers to sign in using their Xbox Live credentials or their PlayStation credentials and get the perspective, a trophy or achievement for that game, and let it tie back to that profile. And get away from your achievement system, because nobody cares. Like, that's something I wish would happen, and that may not be a Steam problem. That may be an Xbox problem. Maybe Xbox said no. Maybe PlayStation said no. Maybe nobody's thought about it because they haven't hired us yet. They need to just come hire you and me, and we'll fix all these problems, right? Yeah. So that's just really one place I really wish it would get better, man. Is I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really, really hate the fact that, now, unless I'm playing something on PC Game Pass, which is incredibly limited, it's a great value for what you get, but it's limited, and it's even more limited on PC. Console does have more options. You're not getting your gamer score, man, and that is something I do miss. So yeah.
No, I agree 100%. It's like we're having to play games to actually have fun. That's what it sounds like a.
What a crazy thought, right?
I know. I mean, we're supposed to have fun playing games. I do enjoy that, but there's something about that achievement unlocked popping up every time you just play a game passively. It's just so. There's nothing like it. I will admit that I think we're kind of spoiled because we experienced such a good thing on Xbox for so long that anything else is just more or less a mediocre system. I guarantee, maybe if we had grown up more PlayStation oriented or on Steam, maybe we might think about it a little bit differently, just to be honest. You know what I mean? But we grew up such Xbox fanboys, and the way Xbox has always handled achievements has been so good that anything else seems mediocre to us. You know what I mean? So personally, the way I'm looking at it is I wish that all these Steam achievements, for example, the NBA 2K20, I'm earning all sorts of achievements for PC right now, but the game's not cross-save, so I can't add those to my Xbox collection, and it kind of hurts me. But at the same time, I enjoy playing NBA at 60 frames rather than 30 frames. So it just sucks because you got a franchise like that is so large that it just stinks that you can't just transition your stats, because most people don't know this, but especially, I'm not sure if you know this, but NBA 2K20 just became available on Game Pass, right, for console. So why can't I just log in on my console and upload my achievements that I've gotten on Steam just to be able to transition them? You know what I mean? Like I said, to be able to add to my gamer score, but I can't do that because they're not cross-save. They're more or less, their own separate entities. So, I guess, kind of chiming back in and connecting to what we talked about in the beginning, is I really hope that achievements don't get lost in this transition of cross saves and cross platforming being more of a thing, because I would like the achievements to be more integrated. I don't know if they ever will or not. I mean, at this point, like I said, it feels like you have to own a copy of the game on both platforms to be able to get it dropped.
Well, so a couple of years ago, at E3, one of the big announcements whenever they were redoing the Avatar system, which I will admit nobody cares about, I don't care about, and that was probably a waste of their time. They also talked about revamping the achievement system. That was 2 years ago. That was E3 2018. And pretty much since then, nothing's happened. I mean,
Right. Yeah, it's the same.
like it's been the exact same. So it's like, okay, were y'all working on something and changed your
Mhm.
mind, or are you still working on it? Like, what's the deal with it? So I do hope that they continue to invest in achievements, and I do hope that they don't feel like it's a lost cause. And one thing I like about going back to the beginning, Phil Spencer. I talked about him. The one thing I like about Phil Spencer is he is kind of like, when it comes to gaming, he's a guy very much so that is like a world without borders, if you will. Like,
Mhm.
if you're a gamer, he thinks you shouldn't be punished for the platform you play on, which honestly, I do agree with that. Like, I get it. Like, I do want Xbox to have more exclusives, and I really did before I got on PC. But objectively, I get where he's coming from, and it's going to take somebody in his position to make the first move before that becomes a universal
Right.
thing. But anyway, he believes you shouldn't be punished for the platform you play on, and he thinks that all gamers should be united and connected despite everything. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Like, if I'm on PC and you're on PlayStation, we should be able to play together. And that's another reason why crossplay on COD right now is such a big deal, man.
Right. Yes, I
Um,
agree. 100%.
and I'm hoping to see more of that. He just did an interview with IGN. I sent it to you. Where they were talking about crossplay in there, and he was like, we've come a long way, and he's like, but my mission is not done yet. I want to see more crossplay. So his goal is to fight harder in this next console generation to get more crossplay between
Yeah.
PC and console, and so I really appreciate that. But no, like, I do want achievements, which I understand. Like, achievements is one of those things. It's like, you either get it or you don't, right?
Mhm.
And you might be listening to this and you're like, dude, this is so stupid. I can't believe you're talking about. You're a person who clearly does not get it, right? But then there's some of you out there. You're probably sitting at 500,000 gamer score right now, and you're like, oh, I get it, yeah. So I mean, dude, there are guys that have made it into the Guinness Book of World Records for Xbox gamer score achievement. One
Right.
guy, E3 2016, 2017, something like that. One guy was at like 900,900 gamer score or whatever, right? I can't talk. It's late. It's like past 11 p.m. This guy was over 900,000 gamer score. He's like just under a million gamer score, right? And Xbox found out about this, and they wanted to advertise everything, their brand, their console, the achievement system, the new game that they were promoting, which was Ori and the Blind Forest. So they get this guy. They pay to fly him out to California for E3. They put him up in a hotel, and they put him on stage in front of everybody and allow him to play a game that hasn't come out yet in front of the whole world. And he's able to unlock an achievement that puts him at 1 million, and he was able to hit 1 million gamer score on the money in front of everybody, man. I mean, so achievements are a big deal. I guess one other thing I wish that they would do with achievements is, the biggest complaint I always get from people when I talk about achievements and they tell me that they don't care about them, they say is because, why should I care? I don't get anything for it. And if somebody from Xbox ever heard this, or from PlayStation, who can do something with trophies or whatever, if somebody ever heard this that had the power to make a difference, this would be my recommendation. Would be two things. The first thing is, you should do exactly what Google does with YouTube. If you're a YouTuber and you hit 100,000 subscribers, they mail you a plaque, and they put it up, and it has your YouTube channel name on it and all of that. And tons of YouTubers have gotten these plaques, and obviously they mount them on the wall behind them. And of course, I think you get another one at 500,000 and another one at 1 million or something like that, right? They might have changed the metrics, but that's pretty much what the idea is. So that's what Xbox should do, man. It's like, if you hit 50,000 gamer score, that's nothing to scoff at. You should get a little certificate from them. If you hit 100,000, you should get another certificate, and then from there make the next milestone something way bigger, like 500,000, and then 1 million, and just make 1 million like the last one or something, right? But yeah, like, you should get a plaque of something that has your gamer tag etched in it, and all of that. That would just be really cool, in my opinion, and it wouldn't really cost them a lot of money, and it would definitely add a lot of value to the achievement system, which would then add user activity and player engagement on the platform, which is something that they are striving for.
No, I agree 100%.
So I think that would be amazing. And the second thing, and this is totally optional, clearly, but I don't know, maybe start looking at some type of discount system, right? Like if you get so much gamer score in 1 month, then you get 10% off your next game purchase or something, or you get 1 month free of Xbox Games Pass or something, right? Like it's like, look, man, you're putting a lot of hours into our platform, and that is proven through the amount of achievements that you're earning, and we appreciate that. And
no, I agree 100%.
So so anyway, so that's pretty much what I got on achievements.
I'm pretty good too, man. I mean, I'm just looking for some more continuity between achievement. I mean, even just one thing I will add is people love cosmetics. So I mean, even if you were to add an in-game cosmetic or something you earn from an achievement, let's say I don't know, are playing Call of Duty and you earn a weapon skin from getting an achievement. You know what I mean? Like just something. I mean, if there were more rewards given out by developers for earning certain achievements in certain games, I mean, I think that would be...
That's actually a better idea. That's a better idea than my idea for the discounted game. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that, right? Like if you got, if you got certain achievements in games or whatever, they gave you and it could come directly from Xbox directly. Like, could you imagine getting a camo for your Call of Duty ACR or SCAR and it just said Xbox on it or something like that? That'd be pretty cool, man. Or it had like your gamer score for that month on it, right? Yeah. You know how they have like those live kill counters on the guns? Yeah. What if they had like a live achievement score? Yeah. My goodness. That's fine. We're going way too crazy for this. But Phil Spencer, if you ever see this, you can hire me. I love Xbox. I love Microsoft. I am a sequel developer, just FYI. So, so no, I would love that. But hey, so one final question for you, man, before we wrap it up. So, saying everything we said and talking about all the things that we do miss about console, do you think it's worth it to switch back? Do you think we should switch back? Do you think there ever will be a day when we switch back over?
No. No.
No. Okay.
No, I think that, I mean, just looking at my setup right now, we would not be able to do this how we're doing it on a console. I mean, we could finagle it and make it work, but having a really good PC and having dual monitors and having like the microphone and having the webcam, dude, you can do that stuff on console, but and you still need a PC to make it all work. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. It's almost like you're trying to solve a problem with the ultimate solution right in front of you. You build a good PC, it solves a lot of problems. Right. You're able to do a lot more. So I don't think I'll ever go back to console full time. I mean, I will have an Xbox Series X at one point. I will say that I will have one. I'm not going to get one. I'm not going to rush out to get one. If I happen to get one for significantly discounted than when the launch is, great. You know what I mean? Like, I like having an Xbox available. But at the same time, I'm going to prioritize upgrading my PC first because I feel like that I'm able to do so much more on that platform. And at this point, like I said, I'm happy with it. I mean, like, achievements aside, I mean, I love achievements and I will continue to get achievements and I'll have Game Pass always. I love Game Pass Ultimate. I think it's a great value. I will keep it, 100% of the time. But I'm starting to slowly understand what it's like to just play games for fun. I played games recently that I never thought I'd play or I haven't played in years and had a blast. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to find more joy in doing things such as like streaming or doing something more that gives me more joy at the same time. But at the same time, achievements are always going to be on my heart. Like if I can play a game and get achievements for it, like for example, Outer Worlds is a great example. I'm going to do that. I mean, but at the same time, like I'm not going to limit myself anymore like I used to because I've seen the light, so to speak, and I understand PC gaming. It's a lot more expensive and it's a lot more user intensive. You have to learn how to use a computer.
Yeah.
But I'm done. I mean, like I said, I'm good. I mean, like I'm good with upgrading my PC and continuing on that road more than I am going full-time console again. I mean, I will have consoles eventually, but it's not a priority right now for me, man. I mean, like I'm really enjoying I'm enjoying the challenge and enjoying the new road I'm creating for myself by being on a PC.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, we couldn't really do this. I mean, you would have to. Actually, no, you couldn't do this at all on a console, like just straight podcasting. And then, like, if you wanted to do your face over gameplay, like I used to do on my YouTube channel when I was only Xbox, like you have to buy an external capture card and capture it in. Or you can use the built-in Xbox DVR, but the issue with that now is, just the quality gets. It's so late, I can't think of it right now.
That's compromised after a certain time.
Yeah. Compressed is the word I was looking for. Like they compress it and stuff. So anyway, but no, I've been playing my Xbox One X a little bit more the past few weeks. My wife and I just finished Gears of War 5, and then I just started playing Anthem with my buddy Jared. I got it for $10 on Xbox, so I'm like, sure, why not? And I'm getting an achievement, so that's pretty cool. But game's a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, but I had really low expectations. but the point is, the 30 frames isn't killing me, and I'm still having an enjoyable experience. But at the end of the day, like I would just be lying to myself if I try to say that the experience I was getting on the console was anywhere near the same experience I get on my PC.
Right.
It's just not. Yeah, it's just not comparable, man. It's definitely a night and day difference. But hey, maybe that'd be podcast 2. We'll talk about the pros and cons, because we could talk an hour about that, right? Like I mean, the pros and cons of PC and console gaming, and it will cover achievements again, exclusives, couch co-op, just all the things, man. So yeah,
I agree.
But anyway, all right, guys, that wraps it up for episode number 1. Thank you so much for checking it out. It's you can follow me on Twitter at Erock on Deck, or check out my YouTube channel, which this is currently going to be the first video on it. And then you can follow Max on Mixer at AflocFul of Babies, right?
Yep, AflocFul of Babies, and then I'm going to start working on my Twitter. It's going to be AflocFul at AflocFul, and then YouTube will come at some point. Yeah, but primarily going to be doing Mixer and streaming. I'm enjoying that too much, having fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be great. And then, and if he ever gets a YouTube channel, I'll be sure to make sure he gets a copy of this so he can get it up on his channel, because this is just as much his content as it is mine.
Right.
And but thank you guys so much for the support. Be sure to check us out, subscribe, follow, share, and we will catch you in episode number 2. See ya.
Bye.